Is Lisa Mallette, the director of this whole show. Let's start with you. Tell us who you are, even though I already just did that. And
Like you just did that.
I
I'm Lisa
did.
Mallette.
I just
I had the privilege of directing this story, and I'm also the executive artistic director of City Lights Theater Company.
And what's one of your favorite baked goods?
Oh, so my kids don't really like pie, which bums me out because I do like it, and I think that something I crave sometimes is strawberry rhubarb pie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Want to pass it on to another artist?
Sure, I'll pass it on to Louisa.
Hello, I'm Louisa Sermel, and I play Della in the play. And let's see, my favorite baked good. I'm going to get on my soapbox about the scone. Notice how I pronounce it as scone because I'm from Scotland, and a scone was usurped by the English. It's a Scottish dish. That's where it comes from, and it's the scone. And if you watch the Great British Baking Show, you will notice that they all say scone, and Paul Hollywood is famous for his scones. So I'm spreading that word.
I did not know that. Thank you.
Yes, well, it's a small mission in my life. And now I will pass this on to my husband, Tom.
Hello, I'm Tom Goff, otherwise known as Louisa's husband, and I play Tim Brady, owner of Brady's Plumbing Services, and husband of Della in the show. And for me, nothing beats a good lemon bar.
Right out of the script, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will pass it next to Lonnie.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Lonnie Fullerton. I'm the costume designer for the cake. And my favorite baked good is I buy the big bulky box at Costco of the Madeleines. Like I love the Madeleine. You know, I have that with my coffee all the time. Sorry, I couldn't even think of the word. I had a beach day today, and so the sun has fried my brain, but but that's what I enjoy. I'll pass it on to Ben.
Right, I'll turn my camera for that. Ben Hammond, stage manager for the production. Yes, Kat. And my favorite book good, I'll be the counterpoint to Lisa. Growing up, we always had our rhubarb pies, sans strawberries.
Ooh,
No sweetness here, just lemon and tart.
pretty tart. Oh, that sounds good, especially on a hot day. All right. Lizzie, want to go next?
Sure. My name is Lizzie Zuman. I play Jen, and I definitely have a sweet tooth, but today I love red velvet cake. That is my baked good. And I'll pass it to Sonia.
Hello, my name is Sonia Wong. I'm the lighting designer for the cake. I would say my favorite baked good is probably just a classic chocolate chip cookie. Like, I like a lot of baked goods, but I have to kind of be in the mood to want them. But chocolate chip cookie, I can have them like pretty much anytime. I'll pass it off to Karen.
Hi, I'm Karen Leonard. Pronouns are she, her. And I'm the assistant director and props designer. And my favorite baked good is not in the show, actually, but I thought about making one, but whoo, man, that would be hard. It is a Black Forest cake.
Oh, good choice. Wow, something just fell down over there. Okay. Anyway, that was exciting.
Yes, it was.
I'm coming to you live from my garage, and my husband is now in trouble for not cleaning up that pile of crap. Yay!
That sounded like a crash box.
It did. Didn't it totally sound like you made it for a theater?
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's mostly Legos. So I don't think that I'm going to blame my husband. I think I'm going to blame my kids. Yeah, it's Legos. It's like live theater, live Zoom, never a dull moment. Thanks, everybody. And since not every single person could be here, I'm going to first pull up our team photo so you can see everyone who could not be here tonight. Let me just spotlight that. This, like all the other photos I'm going to show tonight, was by our company photographer, Christian Pizzerani, who always does absolutely beautiful job. And here, of course, you get a taste of the beautiful lighting by Sonia Wong and the gorgeous set design by Ron Gasparnetti. And I see a lot of Karen cakes, and I see a Louisa dress. I love that dress, Lonnie. Cool, cool. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that. I love the color. I mean, it's perfect. She's got to be wearing the right color. I hope I'm not doing any spoilers. If there's anyone here who hasn't seen the show yet, make sure you say something real loud. But I'm looking at the names. I think most people have seen the show already. So we won't say specifically what she's dressed up for, Della, at that point. But it is a beautiful dress. All right, no more Legos. Let's continue on. I haven't seen it. Damien hasn't seen it. Okay, thank you, Damien. We will make sure not to tell you the end. And whether or not Macy actually eats any cake, that's a thing. Lisa, would you like to start us off, our director and also our artistic director? So even though everyone on the staff reads plays, Lisa is the one who makes the final decision about what our seasons are going to look like, how the different shows fit together. And this play, like so many others that Lisa picks, feels like it just fits so perfectly with our present moment. But you were reluctant about it when you first heard about it, and then you grew to love it. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, happy to. I read probably hundreds of plays, thinking about what stories we should be telling at City Lights. It's like one of the most important things that I do, and I don't do it alone. I do invite others to read, suggest, have conversation, and I remember I come from a big family of attorneys. I know that's like kind of random, but my mother, my biological father, my stepfather, my former mother-in-law, my former brother-in-law, my nephew, and then I have another nephew that's in law school. So I'm sure I totally disappointed everybody by going into the arts. We'll start there. So I remember very clearly the Supreme Court case about the baker that refused to bake a cake for the same-sex couple because of her religious beliefs and values. And I remember being really angry. I remember being very judgmental and feeling like that, was ridiculous and it's a cake. What difference does it make? Love is love. I mean, I just remember it. And now, unfortunately, there have been multiple cases. So I remember the first one, but there have been multiple cases. And one of the reasons when I read the script initially, I often try to look for female identifying playwrights. That's something that is important to me. And I have a very strong allyship with the LGBTQ plus community for many, many reasons that I'll answer if you want to know, but I won't go on and on about it. But if you ever notice, like at least 2, sometimes 3, sometimes more of the plays have people from that community or it's about that. So it's just something that I'm very passionate about. And so I really was excited to read the play. I also like a lot of plays that have been written in the last, say, 5 to 10 years. Like I like trying to bring new things to our audiences. So I read it and I sat down and I was like, what's her problem? Why won't she bake the cake? And how are they possibly going to make me like this play if it's centered around this woman? And by the end of the play, I was completely turned around. I thought, we are never going to get anywhere as a people if we can't truly appreciate, see, have compassion for, listen to other people's perspectives, point of views, how they grew up, what their values are. And we're never going to be able to come together if we can't at least be open to hearing why someone makes the choices that they make. And I felt like the play did something to me in that way. I still think she should have baked the cake. I still want everybody to bake cakes for any two people on earth that are in love. But I had never really thought about what it was like to grow up in a deeply religious family in a smaller town. I was born in San Francisco. Like my whole life has been completely different. And so I was exposed to different things, and my values show that. But what if I hadn't? Like, would I innately feel that way even if I was born in South Carolina, North Carolina, Utah, Arkansas? Like, would I feel the same way? I don't know. So I feel like Bekah Brunstetter did such a beautiful job at not making Della a hero or a villain, but a human being that that is struggling and maybe trying to imagine changing her mind about something that has been in her life, her whole life, in all of the ways. And so I found that character to be so I felt so much compassion for the struggle that that character must have gone through. And maybe that woman, maybe that baker, I don't know. But to me, that's what plays are for, is to get us all to maybe see a different point of view, a different perspective, to take it in, to maybe consider, just consider that there are many people that don't grow up in the same situations that we do, that don't have the same values, don't have the same religious beliefs, don't have the same history. And I'm a big believer that you never know at any moment what someone's gone through, is going through, is about to go through. And so I try to lead my life with a lot of understanding, compassion, and kindness, but I didn't for this baker. And it just made me acknowledge the fact that I didn't. And now I am. Now I do. And I also thought that the young couple was just, the relationship was beautiful, even with strife and challenges and complications, but still just a really honest, beautiful relationship. Because if you come from two different places, but you fall in love, that's going to be hard. And so I felt like the relation, sorry, I'm probably saying too much, but then I'll be quiet. I felt like the relationship between Tim and Della was also very real, and brought up subjects that we don't often talk about. We make jokes about people married for a certain number of years that are not very intimate. We make jokes about, like, what's the best way not to get laid, get married. You know, we make jokes all the time. But Della really just wants to be loved and seen. And it isn't that Tim doesn't love her or see her, but like that felt like a whole nother storyline that made the play seem so much more full to me. And then two more things real quick. One is I love taking realistic dialogue and slamming it up against theatricality. So Damien, I'm not going to give it away for you, but that there are scenes that feel very real, like they could happen next door to you. And then there's a awesome sort of crazy ass theatricality that swings in, and it goes back and forth. And that just made me love, 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 love the play. And then I have a script in front of me. The last little thing, while I'm sitting kind of tearing up when I'm reading the play 2 years ago about, it says end of play. And then it says note. And then like verbatim. This is the end of the play part of the play. Ideally, upon exiting the theater, the audience is surprised with an actual cake waiting for them. The wonderfully terrible grocery store cake that you never let yourself eat. Ideally, everyone then stands around together eating cake. And when I read that, I just, first of all, lost it, like started to bawl, because for 20 years, City Lights has been putting on these parties after every single show to establish an opportunity for fellowship, for true connection with the audiences and the audiences and the artists in real time. And that has been part of our culture and our core for so long. And then I saw it in a play, like a published play. Like, wouldn't it be cool if And I'm like, we do that all the time. We have to do this play. And you should have seen the faces of everybody in the front of house staff when I said we got to have cake after every show, like cupcakes, cakes, something. We have to do what the playwright said, actually put in print. So I just felt like once I read that little bit at the end, even though I fell in love with the play from beginning to end, when I read that, I knew it was for us.
And we have had a variety of treats after the show, which is nice. I know you've baked some, and I know Louisa baked some for the cast opening week, and yeah, I feel like this kind of a team effort of the goodies that are happening after the show. Yeah, this Sunday, our nonprofit partner for the show, which is Cake for Kids, it's an organization that provides free personalized cakes to kids in foster care or other kids who are underserved. They'll be there on Sunday, and they're bringing their own treats. So, yeah, it does feel very City Lights. And I really like what you said about talking about the relationship between Tim and Della and how we joke about older couples and how often they're intimate and whatever and things get old. Da, 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 da. I feel like there are a lot of moments in this play where you're telling stories or looking at situations that you don't see as much on stage. And that's really nice. And the character of Della, of course, is so nuanced. And Louisa just plays her to the hilt, just every single aspect of this woman. There's also a reviewer who said, I think some of the most interesting growth that Della goes through happens after the play ends. And I love that. I wish we could see what happens next. Do you feel that way too, Louisa?
Well, yeah, I think it's telling, not to give anything away, but at the very end that it's uh, as much as she does, I still need more time. So if there's no big bow at the end of, and it's all resolved, and that just doesn't make sense with how human beings are. But you still get a sense that she's struggling with something. She says a few times that she just needs more time to deal with this and to struggle with it. And I think you get the sense, and I believe she doesn't give up on it. You know, and you even just in her, even what she says to her husband, things she says to her husband that she has not said, that alone, it opens up her in a way that she's able to say things and find her own belief in her own way of thinking, which I think is, you know, what we can hope for everybody, to come to trust your own way of thinking at whatever point in life you are. You know?
Yeah, the fact that she needs time, it makes the play that much more real.
Yeah.
That's weird.
There's a line too that she has in there, which I think is very kind of the crux of the whole thing that Lisa was talking about, which is when I say to Macy, it's the only truth I know. And it's not really a flippant line. It really is the truth. And I think that's something we maybe not forget, but we don't consider or give grace to people sometimes when that is the only truth they know. That's what they've been brought up with. That is their truth, to have a certain belief system that they've just grown up around, and it takes a while to break that. You know, we who have grown up in bohemian households and you know, with everything around us, we think it's fine, but for people who have come from something completely different, it's a truth that they have. And so how can we start opening up that truth? And I think Della begins to, even at that point of her life, start to second guess those truths and where they came from and how they can be different, you know.
That is a really powerful line. It's the only truth I know, the only one I know. It's really, there's so many different ways of looking at and delivering that line, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you. Before we move on, I just want to acknowledge that two other of our artists have joined. Interestingly, when Lisa started talking about magical realism, Max Takis jumped on. And Max, there is at least, we know Damien Vega hasn't seen the show, so don't tell too much for Damien, but you want to quickly introduce yourself and kind of explain in a very cryptic way who you play?
Yeah, hi. I play in the script, it's just a voice. So I am recorded. So Damien, I won't see you there. But you will hear me. And I feel like I don't want to give too much, yeah, I don't wanna give too much away. But yeah, I'm in there.
And we're glad you are. Lisa's laughing.
And
And
what's
so,
your favorite baked good?
oh yeah, what's your favorite baked good, Max?
Me? You
Yeah,
asking
yeah.
me? Oh my goodness. Probably like an old-fashioned donut.
These are all
'Cause you
great
can
choices.
break the side pieces off and you
Nice.
can dunk those separately, and then you still have a nice donut. It's just a strategically sound and delicious baked good.
You could go into marketing for donuts too, I think. And our dear Cyndiata is here as well. Your first City Lights show. You and Sonia are new to us, so welcome, welcome. Want to introduce yourself and say who you play and what your favorite baked good is?
Hello, y'all. Sorry, I'm a little late. I'm in the middle of moving, so I'm like, I was looking for my laptop and all the boxes, and then I gave up. So, but I'm Sundiata. She, her. I play Macy. Um, I'm in the couple. I'm in one of the couples. I don't know what to say. I don't want to spoil anything.
No, that's good. That's good.
And yeah, very grateful to be here and be a part of this process.
What's your favorite baked good?
My favorite baked good is tres leche. Tres leche cake. That's the first one that came to mind. That's my childhood.
I love it. That sounds great. Thank you for being here in the middle of your move. Ah, I love this show. One of the things that I've got to jump on first is, of course, one of the things that we talked about, have been talking about in the marketing for months, that we have this real life married couple on our stage, and Tom and Louisa. Louisa was in the Seagull in 2018, I believe. I think that was the year 2018. Tom has been in many, many shows at City Lights, and of course had a leadership role at City Lights in the past. But this is the first time they have been on stage together, which absolutely fascinates me because the two of you are such pros. I want to know why this is the first time you're on stage together. Was it you waiting for the right script, or was it a schedule thing, or what brought you?
Lisa asked.
Yeah,
I mean,
say no to
it's
Lisa.
as simple as that.
I just can't believe you've never been on stage together before, though.
Well, our relationship, if I may jump in here, honey.
Please.
You know, our relationship started, she lived in Portland. So the distance thing made that difficult. There were attempts. We were foiled in a few other attempted opportunities. And we've done a few one-off staged readings together, including a COVID film noir radio program for the Jewel Theater in Santa Cruz. But this is the first time we're getting to do a full production.
That's
And
fantastic.
and the Seagull for me, when it was the first, I moved down here when we got married in 2018, and City Lights was the first theater that hired me, which I always is a soft spot in my heart for that too. And it's just, I don't know. This was meant to just come around to us, I think, at this time. You know, we both work. This is the first time we could get to take 10 minutes it takes us to get to the theater. A little bit more sometimes, maybe, but around that time, and we drive in together, and it's so easy, and share a dressing room. I mean, it's really it's a lovely thing to have.
Oh, that's
Run lines
wonderful.
together all the time.
So, joys, challenges, surprises about working together?
I think the funny one was when Lisa told us that we couldn't kiss so easily. The kissing thing, that we had to make it a little more awkward feeling. It came too naturally. I'm like, oh, okay. When we finally have the kissing moment.
I mean, there are a couple of, without giving too much to Damien away, there are a couple of surprising moments in the script that, we both considered with Lisa. And I know that, Lisa, I hope I'm not giving too much away here, Lisa, but she spoke to us over a year ago, well before the season was announced, wanting to know that we were available to do this show specifically, and especially since she found out that we had never acted before together.
And then the moments that are a little more tricky in that way, it does make it that much easier when you're with your, married partner.
Of course.
Easier
And I'm
if
not
it-
showing photos of some of these moments because we didn't take photos.
No,
of
no.
them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think
Yeah.
in this day and age, we always have intimacy coordinators for things.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thing to have an intimacy coordinator, come in with a married couple, like, how, which she was great anyway, because our first thought is we don't need it, but there are certain moments just to make certain things clear and things like that.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up because some audience members might not know something just popped up, might not know what an intimacy coordinator does. And she, Bessie Zolno, that's how you pronounce her last name, Zolno. She played a role, and she must have worked with everyone, I assume. Can we talk a little bit about what her role is and how she just makes you feel more comfortable on stage? Louisa, do you want to start with that?
Well, I will, but I think she did a lot of lovely work with Sundiata and Lizzie.
Sure,
They
yeah.
can speak to that because really with us, she helped us a little bit in a couple of moments with that, but and to make sure that the picture is telling the right story. I think that's the job, but and also there's certain things as actors we do to make sure that we're comfortable tapping in and tapping out. I mean, we even do that as husband and wife just to kind of here the day is done, we're now these characters, and now we're back to our husband and wife in real life character, just to make that clear line too.
Yeah.
But maybe Lizzie and Sundiata want to talk about because she worked with them a lot.
Yeah, and I don't know if Lizzie and Sundiata, if you knew each other before, because you're so natural together on stage. It's really lovely. So no, you didn't know each other before. And yet there's this beautiful trust built, which I can see.
No, Lizzie and I go way back to the first day of rehearsal.
We actually hate each other.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I was just super lucky that I got to, partner with Lizzie in this. I mean, she's an incredible artist and incredible person. So that made everything a lot easier because I was very worried about that. But then working with Bessie just made it 10 times better. Like Lisa said, the clarity of each moment became much more impactful. And it also gave us more attention and direction with the relationship itself. So it was really fun.
Yeah, I think working with Bessie helped us feel more comfortable to be playful by actually establishing more of those boundaries and structure, right? And I think one of the things that Bessie did super well is just break things down, like almost like you would break down stage combat or choreography, right? And then we have somewhere to play off of that. And so very grateful for Bessie, very grateful for Sundiata. It's just been so fun.
And it shows on stage. There's that great line, Lizzie, you have when you say, "But I can never turn my brain off, but Macy puts her arm across my chest and I just kind of sink into sleep." Like that line just gives me goosebumps because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, warm moment of just trust and closeness, and the way you deliver it, it's so like, of course she loves her. Like we're all crying in the audience. It's really beautiful. That makes me think about trust building. This may sound a little odd, but this made me think about the beanbag thing. And I don't know if Lisa, you do this with all your shows, but I've seen it at other ones that there's this warm up that the artists do where you're tossing beanbags and it feels like you're warming up to perform, but it also feels like a trust building exercise. And I watched you all do that before the show opening week, and it was super cool. Lisa, can you tell us about this exercise?
Yeah, I mean, I learned it from the brilliant Mark Anderson Phillips. So it wasn't something that that I brought to the table originally. It was him, but it's it's intended to make you connect with each other. Like, and yes, that's where trust comes from. That's where the trust is built from connection. And if you're basically, if you haven't played this game, folks, you have like 9 bean bags and you're in a circle and you call out a person's name, and you have to make sure that you make connection with them, like physical eye to eye. Yeah, I got you. Like you don't say that. You just nod or whatever, but you have to make eye contact and then you toss them the beanbag. And what happens is you add bean bags. So you end up lots of bean bags, lots of names being called out all at the same time. But if you stay really focused and present, and you don't try to shortchange anything by like, yeah, I got you. I'm gonna grab the bean bag and throw one. You'll drop it. The only way that you can keep the game going is by committing, like I'm committing to Lonnie. Lonnie's going to toss it to me. I'm going to catch it. And that means that we completed that moment together, the two of us. And then I will move to Tom and say, Tom, and throw it. And it's a little physical, not a lot, but a little bit. And I just think that a lot of people think, well, if don't have good hand-eye coordination, it really has nothing to do with that. It has so much more to do with just taking in the other artists in the circle. And we always use real names, not character names, because honestly, we are real people with like skills that are choosing to work together to tell the story and be these other people for this time in this space. And so people almost always ask when I bring this into a rehearsal room, do you want us to use the character names or our names? And I always say our names because we are those characters for those 90 minutes, but we're not right this moment. Like we are consenting to tell the story together. So yeah, it's really fun. And while I'm unmuted, I also just want to acknowledge without embarrassing that we have producers for this show, Jonathan Karpf and Kathleen Zaretsky are on the line. And I just don't know if people realize Dan Hill is also a producer. He has a different show this year. So is Paul Resch. So Jim Lewis has been in the past. Christy is a producer. I don't know if folks realize how meaningful that is, especially when they're giving a gift of support for a particular story. It helps us know that, all right, well, if the props are going to cost a little bit more because we have to eat real cake, then we have a couple of people that are, that are supporting this particular story. Or if we want an equity actor, Louisa is an equity actor. So surprise, surprise, she's going to cost more. And it's hard to afford that sometimes. But if you've got that kind of support, I just wanted to say thank you, show my gratitude, and say how much it means when folks understand. I mean, I don't know if everybody really gets how expensive these shows are to put on when you add it all up, but knowing that people care about a particular story that you want to tell is really lovely. So thank you.
Amen. Amen.
And I also just want to say, just because Damien hasn't seen it, does that mean we're not telling like one of the funniest stories? I guess we're skipping that one.
Should we tell Damien to go away? What do you think, Damien? Should we tell it or not? He doesn't want to say. Maybe we'll tell it after 8 o'clock. Those of you can stay on for an extra 5 minutes. It'll be like City Lights After Hours. I know which one you're thinking of. Maybe I do. I don't know.
He said sure.
Oh, he said sure. You said sure.
Yeah.
Let me just say one thing first, though, because before it goes by, folks on YouTube won't see the chat. So I just wanted to read it. There was a comment in the chat from Lonnie, and Lonnie said that Sonia, Karen, and I got a chance to do it, the beanbag warm up with Lisa and the cast, and it was wonderful to be present and connect with one another. And I definitely see that eye contact, because you're not just tossing a beanbag willy-nilly. You're like, Lonnie, and then you connect, and it's a trust exercise as well, too. So I will open it up soon and let audience members ask questions, but I think Lisa has a story she's
It's also just great. It's also just great for learning people's names, because I was only there for one night, but I came away going like, I know everyone's name really well now. And I'm bad at dropping names after the first time I meet somebody, but not after the beanbag game.
Oh yeah, that really cements it. All right, do you all want to tell this story?
I'm going to let Lonnie or Louisa tell it, because honestly, it was coming from just trying to be a good director space. Look at Tom. What are you doing, Tom?
Oh, I love this story. Okay, mute. Go. Who's going to go?
Do you want to tell it, Lonnie?
I'm not sure what story we're telling.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, I'll tell it because as an actor,
Yeah,
it helped me.
you tell it.
So, Lonnie, there's the moment in the play where I come out wearing not very much but cream, right? Buttercream. So Lonnie and I, it was the day when we're trying to figure out how to do this. And Lonnie in all her brilliance had made
Yes.
like a
Oh, yes.
prosthetic cream things out of like some kind of weird plastic or something. She'd made them to go, so I'd come off stage, put them on, and then take them off again, which were Velcro to like these pasty-like things. Well, the Velcro made such a loud sound that we couldn't have it because it's in a very quiet moment where that has to happen, and it has to happen quickly. So we're thinking, what are we gonna, and you have to have a little bit of shaving cream in between so that my husband can get that on his nose, right? So then
It's identified as buttercream in the script.
buttercream. But we were using the shaving cream. So Lisa's there and she's just thinking, and Lonnie and I are trying to figure out. She disappears and she comes back in.
Oh my God, I did not disappear. I was sitting right there.
She did not leave.
Okay, maybe
She didn't leave the room.
I didn't leave the room.
You didn't leave the room? Okay,
well,
well,
she was right there.
They were so into their conversation.
Yes, that's what happened.
They were like, well, what if I put the dress on over the apparatus? And they were like, no, because then the dress isn't gonna fit. You're gonna see all the bumps. I never left the room.
Okay.
I was sitting in the dressing room and I was
so quietly.
How are we going to figure this out? And I'm looking at this plate of shaving cream because no joke, we were testing, thank you, Karen, 2 different brands of shaving cream to see which would keep their shape and be fluffy for the longest. So I had a paper plate filled with shaving cream and I'm seeing the struggle over here. We're 45 minutes in talking about this buttercream bathing suit top. And I can see Louisa getting all stressed out and Lonnie's like, I can do, and we can work it out. I can get another dress. Like Lonnie's just like, yes, saying everything. Yes. And I'm over there going, no Velcro. I'm saying no to Velcro. Then they're talking about magnets and I'm just like, oh my God, how do I fix this? So I honestly just took off my dress, took off my bra. They are standing 2 feet from me and didn't even notice. And I
noticed. I looked over.
You were like, she's naked.
I was like, oh, whoa, what's
going
happening?
on? And I grabbed the shaving cream and I put it on myself. And I was like, hey guys, I think this might work.
And you couldn't see anything.
Oh,
and
it looked like, really good.
Right,
and we're like, really good.
And Lonnie's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
what are you doing?
I think you're overthinking this. I think it just needs to be this. And I was like, God damn it, she's right, you know?
It was
oh my goodness.
It was so messy that I also said I felt like I couldn't ask you to do it. I felt like I needed to try it myself because it was so messy. It was like all over my hands and the inside of my dress, but it worked great.
And that was the beautiful thing that you said. I would not ask you to do something that I wouldn't do myself first, which that's not a normal director thing to do like that. So that was a beautiful Lisa Mallette moment of directing.
Oh, it was fantastic. And I can't believe I forgot that even happened. And now I remember. It brings a smile to my face all the time.
Problem solving, theater people.
You didn't try any mashed potatoes. Just saying.
The mashed potatoes looked good. If they hadn't, I might have.
We might have had to gone another direction, right? Yeah.
So in case you were wondering,
is probably like, what is the heck?
Damien, you got to come see the show.
You got to come see the show. So the rest of you, in case you were wondering, what kind of magic did we use to keep the buttercream on Louisa? It was not magic at all. Oh, and that's just the kind of director that Lisa Mallette is.
Yes.
I don't know what I could say after that could possibly live up to the story that was just told. Does anybody have any questions?
No, but I just think that there were a lot of overthinking moments during the whole entire process of stuff. So it's not just Lonnie. We all had those moments.
Oh, let me pull up one of Karen's beautiful cakes because
Oh.
they're just, oh my goodness. This is one of my favorites. Let me spotlight myself here. I mean, look at the Noah's Ark cake. It's so good.
And that's about 95% of those critters were made by my lovely wife, Cheryl Lander.
All right, Cheryl.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that is one of my
Are
favorites.
there any sprinkles of oh, that's
Oh
fun.
yeah. So actually, let me do this. So we got a couple. We do have a couple of questions in the chat. Let me just ask Dan's first because it's a little more relates more to what we're talking about, and then I'll go. I see there's another one. So Dan says a prop question. Okay. So Dan is referring to the play that we did, The Hollow, in 2022, where Karen built these prop cucumber sandwiches that were so gorgeous, and they had these little tiny sprinkles of dill on them for authenticity. And the dill was so small, there was no way anyone in the audience would actually see it, but the actors knew it was there, and we knew that level of realism was there, and that was so cool. So Dan is saying, are there any sprinkles of dill on the cucumber sandwiches type of props or set design that only the actors can see and appreciate? This may be a question for the actors.
Yeah, it might be.
I could say, I don't know if it directly relates, but I know that poor Karen, we went through such a struggle of trying to find the right consistency for the decorating of the first cake, which I have to do the monologue at the same time as decorating the cake, and the consistency of that. And at the time, there was also stage direction of licking the cake, so she was very concerned about it also having to be safe and being able to use it night after night or to have it for the run of the show, and that would be very expensive. I mean, there were so many little things that you wouldn't think of that would have to go into the piping bag. And then poor Zach, who is our PA, who has to fill the piping bag. And you know, this young man, he's never
Ezra.
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 I mean, Ezra filled a piping bag before, you know, so having to learn how to do all of those things. And then eventually we got back, we went through all kinds of stuff that I also have a tennis elbow, and like to do the cake, and it could not be too hard, and it has to be just the right consistency, that we end up with buttercream. So we have now buttercream. So it's kind of back to that simple thing in a way. Other than that, I would say, and maybe Sundiata can speak to, the cake at the end is delicious. I mean, that cake is delicious, you know? So I don't know if that's a dill on the top kind of a thing.
Yeah, some of those cakes are real and some are not. Cool,
The
cool.
carrot cake I ate is also really yummy. Also, whenever I'm looking at all the cakes in the stands, I love looking at the blueberry tart. I love looking at all those blueberries. Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Yeah, I literally threw those together. There were like 4 that I threw together, and probably, I don't know, 2.5 hours, because we needed them for set dressing. And I wanted Ron, who was struggling with other things, to be able to concentrate on those things. And so I just said, you know what? I'll come up with something. I don't know what it'll be, but I'll come up with something. And
It looks amazing. It's just
Okay.
it's such a gorgeous stage picture. You've got the props and the lighting, the set and the costumes, and of course the beautiful actors. It's it's the full picture. Question here about costumes for Lonnie. So another question in the chat. For a past show, we appreciated how the costume designer thoughtfully selected jewelry, ties, socks, etc., related to the script that each character wore. Was there something like this done for this play? Sure. Lonnie,
Yes,
speak to
most
that?
certainly. Yeah, that's the costume designer's role, is to research and to really figure out what is right for each moment. I did do some renderings, which I don't think I ever even showed the cast, but there was a lot of collaboration on this piece as well with the cast members, which I felt like was important because of the reality of these relationships and the nature of the show. We wanted to kind of bring a truthfulness and authenticity to it. So, like, while I did a lot of research on the modern clothing, I had to go out and find things that would work for the characters, and I'd bring in bags of clothes and then we try things on. And I had a really nice fitting with the younger actresses where we kind of put on looks together to figure out what would go nicely. And then thinking about our set and thinking about the emotional character or the emotional state of each character. So like Lizzie's character, Jen, comes from this really joyful, happy place and more lighter, brighter colors, and then goes into more of a somber blue tones before, coming back to her most elegant moment of, well, I don't think I should say, but okay, anyhow, but there's a nice emotional journey. And then if you'll notice, Della's clothing as well starts in a lighter, brighter, more naive moment. Like I wanted to start pastel with her, and then as she takes on her journey, things get a little more messy and deeper tones. And then as she's on that journey of change, that, ultimately the script requires that final dress be an emerald green dress. And I felt like the emotional journey of the color choices that I made also kind of led to that moment, and that beautiful moment that, I mean, Luisa's so easy to, well, all of them, they look fabulous in their clothes. So it was really fun to dress them, right? So, and then, fun fact, my uncle is a quilter and embroiderer, and he made like the Brady plumbing logo for Tom's, like, coverall suit. And he's a gay man living in Utah. And so like this story just hit home for me so much because I grew up in a very conservative background and I've left all of that. And when I go to visit, I like some of these characters, I hear how Tim's character's talking to Della, and I see that in my family relationships, so it's like, for me, it was a very personal show. And I totally said, I don't have time to do these things. I'm a very busy person. I teach, but then I said, well, let me read the show. And then once I read the show, and Lisa's so convincing, she's like, I'll work with you and what you need. And so, I mean, it just became something that I really wanted to be a part of it as well, because I felt like it was such a powerful story to tell, and what a wonderful cast to work with as well. So yeah, there is a lot of thoughtfulness, and it's nice when things work and you see them performing their magic on stage, telling the story, and you kind of go, that feels right. It looks right and it feels right. And it's nice when those little things just all kind of fall into place. So yeah, I'm really happy with how the show turned out. So yeah, and hopefully that answers that question. So yeah.
And there's also something I want to give you credit for is this photo.
Oh.
I hear, Lonnie, that you also made the logo for Della's Bakery.
I did, but it was very simple. So
pretty.
but I'm just happy it worked out.
And her oven mitts. Oh my goodness. Her oven mitts are the best.
That was an issue because I ordered things from Belgium. I didn't realize I was ordering from Belgium, and they sent something totally different. So I was like, okay, I have to redo that. So yeah. So but her apron turned out really nice, so I was really happy for that. So
it looks great. And we even had it, I think, let me just look for the first photo. Yeah, we had it for that first photo shoot.
Yeah, we did. And see, even the logo arrived that day, and my uncle had sewn it like just that weekend, and it came from Utah, and I was like frantically sewing it on before the photo shoot. So it worked out perfectly. So I got to give him some credit, and he was so excited. He goes, "Oh, I can't believe it." So I'm sending him a program. He's just like, he feels all honored, and he's like, he loves supporting live theater. Didn't charge me a dime, and he was just like, I'm glad I'm a part of the show. So
oh, that's wonderful. I didn't know that about Tom's outfit. And Tom, it was so interesting seeing you play this dramatic role. And speaking of Tom, you've made us laugh so many times, and Tim is just, oh God, there are these some moments that, well, no, I got a photo. I always got a photo. This is another really nice one. There's I don't even know what I'm saying here. The relationship between husband and wife. It's so beautiful. And Tom has these moments, and Louisa has these moments, and I have nothing coherent to say because I just love this show so much. And that's pretty much all I got. Tom, say something quick.
Well, I mean, it just so happens that I do get cast in comedies more frequently, or mysteries in the last few years.
The Mousetrap, the Games of Foot.
But, I mean, I have throw in some things like Ideation and Hamlet, things that I have done there. There's some dramatic links to the past also, and it's great sticking to one dialect and and
Mousetrap.
getting to sink my teeth into some juicy moments, and especially with the remarkable scene partner that I have. So
Yeah, you never brought tears to my eyes before because I've only ever seen you make me laugh, and this was so real. It was so real. That's what I keep saying about this show. Like, it's so real. It's so real. Thank you for that. All right, we've got just a couple minutes left. I see there's a question from Christy in the chat. Thank you, Christy. And I don't know, maybe Lisa will answer this one. Christy says, I love the music between the scenes. The tinkling with the pink set reminded me of a ballerina music box. Did the play include the music, or did George create it? And that's George Pasaras, who is our resident sound designer and composer.
Yeah, he made me so mad for this one. He was busy with other shows, and I mean, some directors like give the sound designer more material. I want something that sounds like this, and I'm a big fan of the Great British Bake Off, and so I sent a couple of albums because I don't think he had seen it. I was like, so part of the play should have this feel, but I'm not sure about the other stuff. Like, it's not all British Bake Off, and he was so busy with other shows, and I thought, hey, like, I feel like the shoemakers, kids go shoeless. I was like, this is my show, and you're not, I haven't heard one jot of music. And he walked into Tech Saturday with all of that music, and it's perfect. So he didn't write it, he pulled it, but it's perfect. And I was just like, oh, man, you're so talented. It like doesn't feel fair. So because there's sort of 2 or 3 different themes in the play, and I'm a very musical person just in general. Like, even when I direct, I think of certain scenes as a piece of music sometimes with rhythm and so sound to me is, I mean, all of the designers, I could not do anything that I do in my whole life without designers' talent. Like, there's no way. Artists are my favorite humans in the whole world. And I respect them so very much. But sound is really important to me, and you usually don't get that early. I mean, you actually don't get lights early either. You get like a semblance of set, but you don't get the lights. And I realized, I was telling somebody that I feel like 2 different kinds of directors in the rehearsal room before we get to tech. I'm very much, how are you feeling? Are you connecting? Are you really talking to each other? Are you feeling honest in this moment? Does your relationship feel sincere and authentic? And the minute we get into tech, I trust that work has been done. And then I'm like, I need that set change to start on the 4th beat of the second measure of this music, and I want the lights to go about a half a second slower. I'm very technical once we get into tech, and all through, because I know the artists are doing their thing like that. I get them to that point, and then I let them go for the most part. I give a lot of volume notes because we're adding the other elements, but I was amazed at how perfectly the music. I tried to make him, I was like, I'm gonna pick one and say I don't love it, change it, but I couldn't because it's perfect. And then I saw there was a question about the lights too, so that's a pretty good segue. Sonia, we've never worked with Sonia. Sonia, we've never worked together before, but it was so fun in the early meetings just to hear how not risk averse you are, how you immediately embrace the theatricality on top of the realistic nature, which is one of the reasons why I love the play so much. And you were like, what if we try this? Can I do that? And I'm like, you go. And so I just wanted to give Sonia a chance to talk about that too. And there's a question in here from Cheryl about the lighting in the shelves, which like I wanted that because it says it in the script, but I thought, are we gonna get this? And then we totally got it.
Yeah, Sonia, tell us about that moment where the cake shelves have these dancing lights and multicolors. I absolutely love that part.
Yeah, that was a fun way of showing. So I guess everyone here has seen it except for Damien. But so for
He's
Damien,
fine.
we have like a whole like cabinet of different cakes, and each one kind of like there's LED tape lining them so that each one they can all like have the same color, or each one can have individual color. And there's this moment after one of the scenes during the transition where we wanted to show like some time passing, but we didn't want to just like sit in darkness, or like sit in just like a static kind of lighting look, because then it would still kind of feel unclear. So then we had the idea of having just the lights kind of do like a rainbow little like dance, so it gives the audience something to watch while Della is getting changed. And also feels like there's like some slight action happening, some time passing, and then when we transition into the next scene, we're back to realism.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful transitions, beautiful colors. I mean, I feel this way about all City Light shows. It just that the designers, their visions blend together so beautifully. And that's a credit to everybody involved. Well done. Well done. We are at 8 o'clock. I don't know how that happened. This one went really fast, but I want to give audience members the last chance. If other folks have any questions they want to type into the chat or raise their hands. Anything our artists want to say? Lizzie says love. I look like I'm putting it on my forehead.
Well, this is Tony. I just want to say what a lovely production this was. It was our first time at City Lights, and we thought you did just a fantastic job.
Oh, thank
Really
you so
enjoyed
much.
it. Thank you. The actors were great, and you know the only regret, it was so nice having everyone standing around on the stage afterwards, and I knew who the actors were, but I didn't know who the backstage people were. And I was going to suggest that if you wear name tags, we'd love to be able to greet you and say how much we enjoy the show.
Wonderful. Welcome to City Lights.
Thank you very much.
I
We'll
love
be back.
hearing a newcomer. How'd you hear about us?
I've been aware of City Lights for a long time, but life is busy, and it took us a while to get around to coming by.
Oh, well, we're so glad
we
you
go
did.
to the opera, and we love I just love the little theaters.
We're so glad you're here with us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you. And the play was just a wonderful introduction to City Lights. So thank you.
Thank you.
Put your hand up. Yeah, this is Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
One thing I really liked about the play was both relationships seemed very real, very authentic.
Absolutely.
That was amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you. And thank you for your support of City Lights. We're so happy to have you.
I just want to say that the writing of the rhythm of the dialogue is such that it makes a lot of the relationship stuff apparent kind of between the lines, particularly, I mean, in our case, because there's so much of that seems like this is dialogue that happens regularly, or at least initially, between them in a way that there's a lot of context and subtext behind it that I think the audience can assume and presume things for themselves, which really allows a construct of, I'm going to say, both familiarity and intrigue at the same time.
Well said. Well said. Thank you. And Jim Lewis has his hand up. Hi, Jim.
Hey, a total side note. Number one, I really love the play, and I brought 3 people with me, and they really loved it. I expected to see a show full of courtrooms and protests and lawyers and I thought it was going to be like To Kill a Mockingbird or something, you know, human rights or that sort of thing. So I was way off base, and I could not have laughed any more hysterically at the points that you meant us to laugh. It's hard to catch me that far off guard, and I was thrown completely off guard. And also, I loved the theory or the thought of the cake for kids. So I actually called them on Monday.
Oh.
And, I am going on a ride along with them.
Oh, cool.
To learn more about them, what they do, see them in action, that sort of stuff, because I thought they are exactly, and I told them this, I said, you're exactly the right people that we meant to talk to, because you're doing great work, it sounds like. I learned a little bit more about how the organization works, and you're kind of hard to find. So you're not going to stick out like the Red Cross and the American Cancer Society. You're not doing theatrical productions even. So you're not going to stick out anywhere that we're going to see. So she was thrilled to hear that I found out about them through City Lights. So and they look like they're doing great work. So Lisa, good job at finding them. They aren't crummy people hiding in under cakes or something. They seem like they are really good people, and it didn't even occur to me how important that work might be. And she told me about some of the kids that they serve and whatnot, and it was like, makes a difference. Little things like that make a difference. So yay for finding them, yay for partnering for them, and yay for them for finding this work that has gone over so wide and so well.
Yep. My friend Kim Martin, who actually makes the cake at the end, the real cake that people eat, she actually has done work with Cake for Kids as well. So
I was impressed with the quality of their cakes. We're kind of like the Noah's Ark one. They just weren't cakes. I don't know if that's true for everybody, but the ones that I saw on their web pages before I started them, I checked out their tax returns. I checked out everything I could find out about them.
Good for you.
And the cakes were, wow.
Yeah.
You know, they just weren't taking Betty Crocker out of a box and putting it together. It's very impressive. And I love that Noah's Ark cake. That was my favorite.
Thank you.
Oh, Jim, that's wonderful. Yeah, as Dan mentions, we have a nonprofit partner for every show, and we try to, it's very rare that we get to align their mission or the mission of their mission with our show so neatly. So it's really lovely. They sent me a bunch of pictures of kids who've received cakes, and they're very tailored. There's like a Batman cake and a Spider-Man cake and cake with whatever the child's favorite animal is, and one that looks like a purse. And it's really lovely. So,
I asked if I could go on a ride along. I just want to learn more about the organization, so it's not super, important. But I said, if it's possible, I'd like to see a kid get a cake. And they said that toughens it because a lot of them are protected by privacy because of their particular situation, child abuse, and they're hiding the child and that sort of thing. So it's like, wow, this is really important. But they did talk about the tailoring. And I thought this is going to be a life milestone for some child, for that cake. And I thought that's the kind of stuff we don't think of and makes all the difference in the world. It's better than medicine. It is medicine.
Yeah. Very kind people. Very kind people. Yeah. We look forward to having them at the theater this Sunday. Well, thank you all so much. This has been a wonderful evening, and hope to work with all of you again soon. So please come back. Hi, Paul. Hi, Nancy. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks for doing this.